Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions in the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, hockey, of course. And as always, I'm your host, Pregame Rituals. On Twitter, it goes PD Beats. And my guest is a goaltender from Denmark who plays in the WHL for the Medicine Hat Tigers. We're talking to Mads Sogaard. Mads, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Question for you to start off. Goaltending is a position in hockey that is a position that I find has the most pressure, no doubt about it. Was the pressure a part of your decision to become a goalie? Did you like that? Did you crave that pressure situation growing up, deciding to play goalie?
Yeah, obviously it's pretty fun to have the pressure on your shoulder, and you can either be the difference maker in a good way or in a bad way. So, I've always enjoyed that pressure, and nowadays it's not something I think too much about. I just go out there and do my stuff and do as good as I can. But growing up, obviously it was a lot of fun, and I just enjoyed the position, and I still do to this day.
Talk a little bit about your decision to kind of leave Denmark and go play in in North America. I mean, that's a decision you see a lot of European players make. What was kind of the deciding factor for you, kind of to go to the U.S. and then come to Canada to leave Denmark and play hockey?
It's obviously been a goal of mine since I started playing hockey to make the NHL, and it still is. So, I kind of sat down and talked with my agent, and we decided that the best chances for me to get seen more and get my name out there was to go to North America. And obviously your goal is to make it to the NHL, and scouts are more around over here than they are in Denmark. So it's just about getting over here and having a good first year here and just get my name out to people. And then obviously this year's my draft year is a big year, so I'm just doing my best and trying to help my team every night I'm in. So just doing my best and enjoy playing hockey.
Absolutely. You mentioned it's your draft year. I mean, that's always interesting because it's hard you have to focus the task at hand, which is your current season, in the WHL with Medicine Hat, but that's always going to be in the back of your head, the NHL Draft. How have you kind of been dealing with that pressure, and have you been able to kind of block it out at times, or is it always still there?
I've been pretty good. Something I work a lot on is my mental game, and that's not just hockey. It's also, off ice and what goes on with your brain. And obviously you can't control what you think and what you feel like. But I feel like that I've done a good job of keeping focus on what I can do. And, the NHL draft is really not up to me. It's up to the scouts, and I can just only put myself in the position, in the best position for me. So really it's something that you want to try to stay away from thinking of, but at the same time you got to be okay with when it comes up that it's all right. It's a big thing, and as I said, I just want to do my best every time I get the chance and help my team win. That's all that matters for me right now.
Oh, for sure. And, with your draft year comes kind of two events that have occurred that, are really important in terms of, elevating like a draft stock or an opportunity for people to see you. And that's, of course, the World Junior Hockey Championship, where you represented Denmark. And most recently, the CHL Top Prospects game, where I believe you were on Team Cherry.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about both of those events, but how important, like, what was kind of the mental game before those events, prepping for it? Was there so many things going through your mind? Like, what was that like?
I try to think less about the draft during those events and just focus on, as I said, what I can control, and what I can control is my preparation before games, and just off ice habits, and can't really control what happens on the ice when the game is on, but just trying to stick to what I know and what I can do, and obviously we didn't get the result we wanted with Denmark and getting relegated, but I'm still very proud of all the guys and how we came together as a group and did our best. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough, but I'm sure we'll come back stronger next year.
And that first game against Canada, where you started that game and it ended up being a 14-0 game. I mean, going into it, your whole team, I'm sure, was realizing that it was going to be a hard game because it's Canada and the pressure's always on Canada. What was going through your mind, once you started that game and once it was going, was it a lot faster than you thought? Talk a little bit about that.
Obviously it's going to be pretty tough to beat Canada, and especially in an open game where they want to come out and show all the passionate Canadian fans what they can do, and make sure that the tickets are well spent. So it's obviously not an easy task to be up for, but I just try to stick to my game plan and stick to what I know and play my game. And it's some different systems, and from Team Denmark to Medicine Hat, and I just think that it was it was a lot of fun though. Like, even though we lost it that much, it's a once in a lifetime experience playing the World Juniors opener and playing against Team Canada in a packed Rogers Arena. That's not something you do every day. So
no, for sure. But no, you know what I mean? I mean, it's one of those things where you saw that result. Twitter and social media was absolutely going crazy about that. You're a hockey player. You're on social media. It was probably just like a flood of messages. I mean, a lot of players kind of tune out social media during that tournament, because that tournament, especially in Canada, Mads, you mentioned it, like, it's such a big deal these days. But I think what people don't understand is, regardless of the scores, I mean, these are the 10 best countries for their age group in the world at hockey, and you guys this year were one of those 10 countries.
Yeah, and again, like, for a small country like Denmark, it's a pretty big deal to be in that, and we have a goal every year to make it to the quarterfinals, and if not, we have a goal to stay in the top hole. And unfortunately this year we're not able to, but let's not forget the last 4 or 5 years before we were able to. So it's pretty incredible for a country with around 5,000 hockey players to be able to stay in the top hole for that long of a time, and I'm sure we'll be back soon.
Absolutely. I find it really interesting. You've seen, like yourself, you're a player that people have talked about from Denmark, but Nikolai Ehlers, Blitchfield, there's been so many players that have kind of, not quote unquote put Denmark on the hockey map, but have elevated kind of the presence of it. Is it fair to say that players like Ehlers have kind of changed the game of Denmark hockey for a little bit, like those type of speedy players that get noticed? Like, talk a little bit about the development of Denmark hockey.
Obviously Ehlers, he's a huge inspiration for everybody in Denmark, and not just him. It's Frederik Andersen, it's Frans Nielsen, it's Philip Larsen, it's Jannik Hansen. It's all those big guys that they're huge inspiration. Even if they're not playing in the NHL anymore, they're still playing even in the KHL or SHL or leagues like that, and it's a big deal. And to see guys like that make it, and it's just nice to see it's possible for a Danish guy to make it all the way to the top. And obviously Ehlers coming from the same home, we're from the same hometown, so I know him, and just to see the kind of route he's been on, it's been pretty incredible.
He's just a fast player. Very the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, they called him the Dashing Dane. That was his that was his nickname at hashtag.
Yeah, no, he's definitely fast. He has had those. He's not very very big, but he can definitely skate. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Who is Mads Sogaard off the ice, and who is Mads Sogaard on the ice?
Just calm guy, down to earth. Nothing flashy. Just enjoy life and enjoy spending time with teammates, friends, and family, and just have a good time and that's pretty much me off ice. And on the ice I'm just kind of the same, just calm and enjoys the game of hockey. I like to play the puck a lot and like to just use my size to my advantage and make sure I put myself in the best position to make the save.
No, absolutely. Before games in the CHL, a lot of teams play sewer ball, you know what I mean, with the soccer ball before games.
Yeah.
Spike ball is started to become a game that people are playing. Have you guys played spike ball yet? Or you specifically, have you played spike ball?
You know what? I've never tried spike ball, but I'm sure it's coming up.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great time.
That's what I heard. No, but the guys here play sewer ball before for the games and sometimes before practice. I play before practice, but not before games.
Yeah, no, like sewer ball. But there's also, do you have any other pregame rituals specifically with you being a goalie and everything? Is there anything that you have to do before a game? Are you superstitious?
Not really superstitious, honestly. It's just more of a routine for me and making sure that I'm comfortable and that I'm just feel ready to play a game. And a lot of the stuff I do is actually in the mornings, just making sure you drink enough water and you eat the right stuff and just making sure that you're ready to play a game and just prepare yourself as best as possible. As I said, it's when the game starts, you can't really control what's going to happen, but what you can control is your preparation. So that's something I take a lot of pride in and making sure that I'm ready for every game.
Do you think that that you take pride in kind of the preparation aspect of it? Do you think that kind of allows you to take on pressure more than other people? Does that come into account at all?
Not really. I just these days I don't think about pressure that much. I just I honestly don't think about the crowd or stuff like that. But I the worst thing is like I don't want to let my teammates down. I don't want to be the reason that we lose as a game. So
absolutely, no, I get that for sure.
Yeah, but like pressures, like I don't think about it anymore these days. But
I'm sorry, I brought it up a lot. I feel like maybe now you're gonna be like, man, there's so much pressure.
No. I know it's like I'm pretty down to earth and just take things lightly, and that comes with hockey as well. So I don't think about it that much.
No, absolutely. Talk a little bit about your time this year in Medicine Hat and in the WHL, Mads.
Yeah, obviously getting drafted by Medicine Hat in the Import Draft was a big step for me, and and then coming in here to camp, and just because you're drafted is not guaranteed that you're going to make the team. So you got to come in there and work hard, and that's what I did, and I had a really good camp and just put myself in the best position, and they ended up taking me, and I think that gave me a lot of confidence going into the season. And then I got my first game in Saskatoon and faced a lot of shots, and doing that, it was kind of just a good way for me to see that I can play in this league, and that not only play in this league, but I can play well in this league. So it's just been good so far, and I've enjoyed every second of it.
What I find very interesting too is I've asked other players this when they've come on the show, but I find the CHL, whether you play the OHL, the WHL, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, the QMJHL, whether you play in one of those leagues, I find a very interesting situation because players like yourself are younger guys. You're like, quote unquote, your kids. You're kind of you're growing and you're kind of learning things as well. And you have players, you know, in the pro game that you kind of look up to. You're always learning. But at the same time, the CHL is like a pro setting, right, Mads? You know what I mean? Where it's a big season. You know what I mean? You're on the road all the time, and there's also kids, younger kids in, you know, minor hockey that look up to players like you. So I find it kind of an interesting dynamic because you're kind of looked off as pros to some players, but you're junior hockey players. But it's like junior hockey has become like played in like a pro setting. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, obviously the facilities we have here and you know, just the staff and the organizational stuff, it's top notch, and it's professional. Like, it really is. So, you know, the schedule we have, and, you know, we go on the road for a week and we come back and we sleep one night and we play again the next day. Like, it's a tough schedule, and it's pro-like. So, like, I can see why people think that, you know, it's kind of like pro, but yeah, what you got to remember is we're only 16 to 20 years old. So, yeah, we're still kids and we're still developing and we're still learning. So, I mean, you know, I can talk for myself and I can talk for the rest of the team. We just go in there and do our best every night and, you know, try to help the team win every night.
Kudos to those 16-year-olds, though, that play in the league, eh?
That's kind of crazy that you're only 16 and you play in this league. So,
it's nuts, right?
Hats off to those guys.
It's probably not it's definitely the hardest position you think about, right? Because there's going to be two things that happen. You're going to come in, you're going to log a lot of minutes as a 16-year-old, right? So there's that aspect. Or what happens is, you know, you had an amazing career in, you know, midget AAA where you were the guy, right? Like, you were the guy that kind of scored all the goals, and now you're playing like a lesser role 1 year later. Like, it's a difficult transition.
It's not easy for sure. Like you can take a look at some guys that come in and they've absolutely scored a ton of goals in midget or Bantam or stuff like that, and then they come in and they're just they don't score. They play a fourth line role, and, you know, they turn in from a goal scorer to a guy that kills penalties or block a lot of shots and stuff like that. So, like, it's a difficult transition, and you know, everybody is needed, and, you know, you need those fourth line players that, you know, kill penalties and you know, blocks a lot of shots and play the defensive side of games, and also you need all the rest of the guys, and you need some guys that can score goals. You need some guys that can block the shots, and yeah, you just need everybody, and that's why it's so fun to play hockey. It's a team game, and you're not going to win the game alone, so you need everybody.
No, absolutely. We'll probably, like, we did it last year where around the draft, you know, we did a lot of interviews with players, you know, coming back from the combine, and a couple of weeks before they were kind of flying to the draft. So, you know, maybe, like, we'll have you back on for that, but just in case we don't, I'm going to ask you here, why should, and, like, from your perspective, should an NHL team draft Mads Sogaard? Like, what do you have that you think specifically that an NHL team should be interested in?
You know, obviously, standing pretty tall at 6'7", so
big boy.
Obviously, that's
you're a big guy, man. It's no surprise.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage. I think that you know, I think people might not think about it. It's to keep making the equipment smaller, but you can't really make a big guy smaller. So, like,
that's true. No,
you know, obviously I feel like I move very well for a big guy, and I can play the puck and just do me, and I think that could help some NHL team in the future.
It's so true. They're talking about that all the time, of the equipment getting smaller.
Yeah. No, you can't really just say, yeah, you're too tall to play goalie.
Oh, man. Well, I think we'll wrap up first. Mads, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate having this chat with you. I know you're going to be a busy guy in the next couple of months, with Medicine Hat and with the NHL Draft, but I wish you all the best, man, and just enjoy it. And where can people follow you on social media if they want to keep up with everything going on with you?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's Mads.Sogaard. Yeah. So, yeah, you can just follow along there. Do you
have a nick like with your name like Mads? Does anyone ever call you something like Mad Dog or something? Does it ever happen?
Actually, when I was in camp with my agent, he has a camp every year in Toronto, and Hunter Jones, second-rated goalie in the draft, he kept calling me Mad Dog actually, so that was kind of funny. And here in Medicine Hat, some guys called me Soaks. I don't know why, but it just came up, and it's a nickname I've never had before, so I don't know how it came about, but I don't mind it.
No, absolutely. You know what's also funny, too, is Hunter Jones is coming on the show, like, today.
Oh, really?
I know. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, so I find that really funny. But seriously, thank you so much, man, and I wish you all the best, dude.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. This has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for video episodes and iTunes, Spotify, CastBox, or Overcast for the audio-only versions. And until next time, this is Mads Sogaard and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.